Hey everyone, Cory Muscara here with Mindfulness.com. Welcome back to your weekly newsletter. Today we're going to talk about practice. So, the world of personal growth, mindfulness, healing, it can all often feel very complex. And it's fair because there are a lot of layers to it, especially when we start getting into maybe healing some of our trauma or deeper wounds. It can feel like, I'm going to need years of therapy for this. And I honor that, and I bow to that. There's something sacred about the journey and even the complexity of learning to meet and hold the many dimensions of our humanness, create space for that within ourselves and work through it and grow through it. And at the same time, I want to offer that maybe some of our healing and growth is more simple than we realize. So, we're going to talk about this specifically in the context of what you practice, you develop. So, for instance, the more you practice gratitude, the more grateful you're going to become. The more you practice relaxation, the more relaxed you're going to become. The more you practice mindfulness, the more mindful you're going to become. And while there may be many considerations along the way and different things we need to work with on our journey toward these things, there is something to the penetrating simplicity of the more you do something, the more you're going to get that, the more you're going to exercise that muscle within yourself. And I think sometimes we can lose sight of that when we do feel stuck in the bigness of our personal growth journey. And so this is really an invitation to maybe look at it in a more simple way, because this idea is not new. I mean, we can trace it back even to the Buddha himself and probably before, but there is this famous quote by the Buddha. It says, "Whatever one frequently ponders, that becomes the inclination of the mind. Whatever one frequently ponders, that becomes the inclination of the mind." In some way, that is pointing to what we practice, we develop. What we think about regularly, we're going to build some of those neural pathways. And we can now connect this to the neuroscience as well. Even though that was a quote said by the Buddha, now neuroscientists are referencing that same idea and even using that quote, "Whatever one frequently ponders, that becomes the inclination of the mind," because they're seeing this. And this is, maybe you've heard this phrase before, neurons that fire together, wire together. Right? What we're repeatedly doing, what we're pondering, different areas of the brain that we're repeatedly firing, these become our patterns, our ways of being in the world. And while who we are on the deepest level is bigger and deeper than the ways that we're thinking and our patterns, a lot of what we experience and the well-being that we experience does come from the ways that we're training our mind and the ways that we repeatedly show up and relate to our moment-to-moment experience. So I'm not sure if this is maybe a message that is needed for you in your life, but I know certainly for me, as I'm going through my growth journey in meditation and outside of meditation, sometimes it can all feel really big. And again, it's not to completely simplify the bigness of the human condition and all that is involved in our growth process. But I think there is something powerful to sometimes just coming back to this very simple idea of that which I practice, I will develop. And how am I inclining my mind in this moment? How am I responding to this experience in this moment? How am I holding space in this moment? Am I reinforcing an internal struggle against myself, or am I reinforcing an internal self-compassion and a sense of ease and an awareness versus being on automatic pilot? In every single moment, we can assess that. In every single moment, we're practicing something. So keep this in mind as you go about your week. Notice what are the patterns of mind and the habits and the reactions that you are reinforcing, that you're practicing for yourself, and see if you can make more of that in line with the person that you're excited to grow into. Thank you so much for your practice. If you want more teachings, more resources, and more ways to practice, which meditation helps us do, you can join us in the mindfulness.com app. We have more videos like this every single day, shorter, punchier, and we have lots of meditations on all different topics. So if you want to develop your heart, then you might do loving kindness meditation. If you want to develop just the experience of simply being, you might do choiceless awareness meditation. If you want to develop focus, you might do focus breath meditation. So there's lots of different ways to train your mind. You could view it as a gym, developing a certain kind of mental fitness or heart fitness. So hope to see you in the app. You could click down below to get access to all of that. Talk to you soon. Thank you for your practice and take care.